Academic Affairs Committee. It looks like we have the presentation geared up. I think we have one agenda item today, and that is the proposal for the indoor agriculture program. We were able to get an update in our December 13th, 2019 meeting. And Bob, if you can take us through the presentation again and provide us with any updates on any additional activities that have occurred since our last update in the December 13th board meeting, I will hand it over to you.
Thank you. I don't know who's controlling the slides, but could you go to slide 1? Kathy, if you could just get everything on the slide.
Just everything up on the slide? Okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome. I believe that's it.
Should be one more thing.
Okay.
Thank you. The indoor agriculture program has gone through, since your update, it has gone through the NMU, FA, CTOS curriculum committee, the department head, the dean, and the provost for approval. As you know, and I'll just go through what the program consists of again, just to remind you. It is to be an associate's degree. It will be housed in the College of Technology and Occupational Sciences. It is a collaborative approach. It includes multiple departments and academic programs. The leaders of this have been faculty members from CTOS biology and originally EAGS, and now Kim Smith is over at the Science Center. The 3 faculty were Evan Lucas, Donna Becker, and Kim Smith. It's a 50-50 focus both on plant growth and indoor environments, which makes it very unique, and it's the first known program of its kind. It focuses on all the aspects, as it says here, of both new, emerging, and growing industries. I think the pun was intended there. Sorry. The students will learn about all the processes involved in growing and developing food and or other plants in an indoor setting, and I'll talk about the potential for other plants in a bit. But it includes everything you see here, how to design and construct the facility, how to maintain the facility, the climate control systems. You know, as you know, designing a climate control system for an office is very different than designing one for growing plants. As well, biology, plant biology, and it will focus on a variety of indoor systems, including hydroponics, aquaponics, and at least one other as of right now. And then finally, as it says here, the makeup of different kinds of plants. There's a really high interest in the program already. Everyone who's visited the university, who's had any interest in the medicinal plant chemistry program, has wanted to talk to any number of those of us who have been involved in this program from the beginning. And Evan, who's on the line, has talked to a number of them. The DOL and the USDA projections, I will tell you, are low, simply because most of these jobs that fall outside of your traditional agriculture jobs, especially those that are in the medical or marijuana field, they're not in the DOL or the USDA projections at this point. And even with the 9%, you're looking somewhere, depends on what you're looking at. I looked just in the state of Michigan, and the number of jobs that exist are around 11, 12,000 on the low end, and on the low end of the scale. Evan, in his research, found that this 9% would be 9% of 100,000 jobs, and that's in the Midwest, including a variety of jobs that wouldn't traditionally be considered in the agriculture field. The median income is good, 58,000, and so we think it'll deliver good jobs to a variety of folks in this industry. Next slide, please. This is what it looks like. most of the courses are already in existence. The only courses that have been designed for the program specifically are the IA 101, 102, 201, and 202. The rest of them are existing courses from various departments on campus. So it's there, and the 4 courses that are new make it unique because they bring in that actual growing aspect to some other courses that exist. Next slide, please. One of the things that originally, when Evan and his collaborators had got together, they weren't necessarily, they were thinking specifically of food. And as medicinal plant chemistry came online, one of the things that they were asked was to look at what the potential of this program could be for those students who were coming here for medicinal plant chemistry and who maybe decided because of the science involved in it that it wasn't for them. And so we looked at the, actually we were provided these by Rob Wynn, the 3rd semester retention numbers and the 5th semester retention numbers. And frankly, there's a lot of potential for us to capture students. That the 2017 cohort, there that 26% that's not showing up there, or I should say the 50% by the 5th semester that's not showing up there, because that's the only program that's been to the 5th semester yet, represents 107. Let me just check that. Sorry, it represents 107 students. So there are a number of students that we believe that will capture who are leaving that program for whatever reason. The broader draw from wide range of students that's mentioned here is just that this has an appeal beyond anybody who's looking at MPC, but also anyone who's looking at sustainable issues, climate issues, those kind of things. It has a draw that goes well beyond the medicinal plant chemistry folks. And to put a finer point on it, we're not looking to recruit away any of the MPC students. That's not the intent. The intent is to try to keep the students that decide that the medicinal plant chemistry program is not for them at the university in an industry that they have an interest in, or in a program that relates to an industry that they might have an interest in. Our break even is actually 14. We have 12 to 16 students here, but I've run the numbers and it's 14 per cohort, or 28 at one time. Our expectations are in year 1 that we'll hit 50 students. We'll move up to 75, and we anticipate having 100 students by year 3. This is a request for a pilot program. What we're asking for is a 3-year pilot, and we're looking for a 3-year term hire, specifically to teach those 3 agriculture related courses, someone who has that background, but also to teach in other areas that are connected, other programs that are connected to it. So the hiring criteria for them will be beyond what the College of Technology and Occupational Sciences is usually looking for, and include some credentials that would apply to, for example, biology, to teach a lab. And if we were to exit this at the end of 3 years, we would have a 1-year teach out. Next slide, please. This is the cost for the first year. You've seen this before. This Evan showed this before. Before we came on, anticipating any kind of questions, this is high because it's the first year. It includes recruiting costs. It includes initial marketing and outreach, the technology and furniture that it would require to put a new faculty on board. After this, we're looking at, for the second 2 years, around $86,000 a year. So we're topping it at 3 years, about $350,000 is what we think the cost would be. And if we hit our goals, obviously we'll return much greater money to that when we look at 14 students or 28 annually being a return on investment, or I should say a break even, excuse me. With that, I'll open it up to any questions, please.
But can we go one slide back, please? Whoever's in control, just want to make sure I'm understanding. So
Sure.
we're talking about a 3-year pilot, and our expectations is that by year 3, we would have 100 students in the program or have gone through the program.
No, in
Okay.
year 3.
So, okay. So when we talk about a 3-year program or a 3-year pilot, I'm sorry, excuse me, what is that our definition and our measure of success to continue the program?
Yes.
Okay.
We would, the 3 years, number one, we're not asking for any kind of tenured or continuing position. It really relates, from my perspective, it relates more to the faculty than it does to anything else, because that, from my perspective, that's where you could run into difficulties if you bring somebody on immediately into a tenure or continuing. We don't have tenure in CTOS, we just have continuing. But what we're asking for is a 3-year term hire. So at the end of the 3 years, we could decide to extend that person or offer them an extra 1-year term to teach out, or we could teach out using existing faculty if we needed to. It really just defines that we're asking for this to make sure that it's going to work, much in the vein of what CTOS, the reason why it was moved into extended learning to be kind of that experimental college. So we're approaching everything from that standpoint. Let's try it. Let's see if it works as we expect it to work, and if it doesn't, let's get out of it so that we're not damaging the rest of the economy of the college and the university.
Thanks, Bob. Any other questions, comments, or discussions from the Academic Affairs Committee?
And this is Donna Marie Brown. I was just curious to know, is there a program like this anywhere else in the country at all?
There are, I would say no.
Okay.
In exactly the same way we're doing it. There are some similar programs that look at indoor agriculture out in Arizona.
Mm-hmm.
But the thing that makes this so different is that it's looking at both the environmental systems to put together a facility, as well as how to maintain those systems and grow whatever you're going to put into the structures. The programs out in Arizona, and Evan, chime in if you feel compelled as such. The other schools are mostly on the agriculture part, not on the structure part. And we heard that from some of the companies that have visited here within the past year, that they're really needing these kind of people. They're really interested in internships, in summer hires and those kind of things, because one of their biggest problems is the folks in construction, when they're setting up the facilities, they don't really typically set up facilities to grow plants. They set up facilities for people. And the humidity, the way that you set up the HVAC systems, the way that you design the building even, is typically done for the comfort of humans, not for plants.
Got it.
And they're not greenhouses in the traditional sense.
So we could say this is pretty much cutting edge for us. This is yeah, okay. Thank you.
Any other questions or comments with respect to the indoor agriculture program? Okay. So I'd like to request a motion if, for the approval of the indoor agriculture program.
So moved. Lisa?
And second, all those in favor say aye.
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 Aye. Okay, very good. So, Bob, thank you. I think that as we look at a program like this, like many of the other things that we've recently discussed, it's going to be incredibly important for us to continue and move forward with those things that are innovative, creative, and will draw students to the organization or retain those that we may have in other programs. I think what's really exciting about this is the aspect that there's so many facets that this can be applied to. I know that probably in the next 30 days, I'm going to wish I had an indoor agriculture lesson and something set up in my own backyard. So, so appreciate all of the hard work and the thoughts around this. This was a very comprehensive presentation, and I was kind of writing my notes down as we went through, and I think you answered all of them. So I'll be very excited to see how the program continues to progress and the types of success in other areas that we can expect it to evolve to. So thank you.
A lot. And I would say that the three faculty can't get enough praise for this because they cross department lines. They're cross collaborating on a level that I'm not sure we've seen a lot of previously at the university. And the three of them are really the ones who deserve the kudos in this, and they certainly have mine. So, but thank you very much, Lisa.
Yes, absolutely. Thanks to everybody who's been involved in this. And, you know, as we'll have seen and will continue to see, these collaboration efforts where we do go cross-functional across the departments is going to be extremely critical for the diversity and the creativity and really maximizing how we can squeeze everything out of the programs and make sure that it's creative in every aspect and reaching all the areas that we can. So thank you for that, Bob.
Thanks.
Okay. If there are no further comments and or discussion points, I think I can go ahead and adjourn the meeting of the Academic Affairs Committee. 1:20 p.m. and I have no idea what the day is. March 24th.